From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
Good afternoon, Mark Kane along with Susan Simon. We are following breaking news this afternoon. President Joe Biden is in Madison. Air Force One landed in Dane County within the last half hour.
So if you're planning to travel anywhere across the Madison area today, expect delays. This is the president's first stop after his State of the Union address. According to the White House press schedule, he will be speaking at the Liuna Training Center in DeForest this afternoon. President Biden is expected to promote his economic plan and how it is creating more jobs for the American people. That's quite a sight.
It really is. Air Force One.
To see Air Force One at Truax Field. If you are near the area of President Biden's event in DeForest, expect roads to be closed for much of the day. Highway 19 near Liuna Way in DeForest will be closed for several hours as the president's motorcade moves through the area. If you get a chance to see it, it's quite a sight.
It is. It's exciting.
To see a presidential motorcade. His appearance at the Liuna Training Center will be this afternoon. The Dane County Sheriff's Office recommends anyone who normally travels along 19 to find a different route and be patient if you come across unexpected travel restrictions.
And we will have live team coverage of President Biden's time in Dane County throughout the day.
Our Tahalil Moeddin is at the Dane County Regional Airport, and our political reporter Will Keneally and anchor Eric Franke are live in DeForest this noon. But let's begin with Talil at the airport.
The president left the Truax campus just about 15 minutes ago. His motorcade, as you said, is headed over to DeForest. Now, he spent about 15 minutes on the tarmac, first being greeted by Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers and Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway. They exchanged a few words, shared some smiles, took a few pictures, and then the president headed over to a group of supporters made up of military, a few families, some kiddos, just saying hello. A lot of excitement there, grabbing some pictures, waves. Now, we're told by the White House that the president on his flight from Maryland here to the Madison area was joined by Congressman Mark Pocan for the duration of the flight before he landed here. As I said, once he got here, he was greeted by the governor. A lot of excitement. Stay tuned with us. We're headed to DeForest for that live team coverage to see a little bit more about how he's received in that community. So stay with us.
All right, Talil, thank you. This is a live shot from DeForest now. Is this the presidential motorcade? It's making its way through DeForest.
Should be arriving momentarily, and you won't be able to miss it.
No,
it is really quite a spectacular sight if you've never seen one before.
So avoid that area, of course. Roads will be closed for the remainder of the president's visit. Eric Franke joining us live now from, there's the motorcade. This is along Highway 19 and River Road. The training center is on a frontage road right along Highway 19. You can see ambulances and all the blacked out limos.
President Biden certainly picked a beautiful day to visit Madison. It's sunny and in the 40s right now. And of course, we've got a winter storm coming tonight. So the timing is perfect for his visit here. He's expected to go to the Liuna Training Center. We'll join Eric Franke there momentarily. We're hoping to get a little bit of a glimpse of the motorcade as it approaches DeForest.
Yeah. All right, let's go now to the training center. Eric Franke, what's going on there, Eric?
Well, Mark, obviously it's a lot of activity going in here as the president approaches the Laborers International Union of North America Training Center here on 19 in DeForest, as you mentioned. This is a facility where they do a lot of apprenticeship programs for the construction trades, and that's something certainly that's going to be a key component of the president's economic message, which he wants to tout on the heels of last night's State of the Union address. Of course, Wisconsin, a key battleground state. We're going to bring in Will Keneally momentarily to talk a little bit more about that, but the historical context, as I added up the numbers, this is the 16th visit by a United States president to the Madison area, either a future president or a past president. That includes John F. Kennedy's visit to the field house in 1960 as well. It has been almost 11 years. It would have been 10 years ago in November since President Obama came here on the eve of his 2012 re-election campaign. So it is a rare moment, starting with Ulysses S. Grant during his term between 1869 and 1876. We understand Grover Cleveland actually would come to Madison and fish on Lake Mendota. There will be no fishing today by President Biden, at least not on the lakes. We bring in Will Keneally to talk more about the president's economic message, which he starts in Battleground, Wisconsin. Will.
Exactly. So if this were the president's re-election bid, if he were going to run for president next year, this would be the place to do it. Right after the State of the Union, he's touting his economic message. So part of that message will include essentially touting up the economic efforts that he made in the past 2 years as kind of making his case for why people should re-elect him. Especially now, too, here in Wisconsin, we have that April Supreme Court race, hoping to essentially gin up Democratic support, gin up Democratic energy for that April election. Likely we're seeing here. The other thing, the specific message that we'll see here is jobs in the economy. So we'll see him talk, of course, to this union facility here, likely continue that economic message, the economic good decisions, as he called it last night in the State of the Union, that he's brought this past 2 years, that he would hope to carry on the next 2 years and then for his re-election bid here.
Will Keneally, thank you. We'll, of course, be recapping this throughout the day. Always exciting to have a presidential visit here in Madison. That speech will be a little after 1 o'clock, give or take a few. There's always a snag or two in the schedule. The president expected to return to Base Andrews, Joint Base Andrews, about 5 o'clock. These visits are always very quick. We will bring this to you live and have more coverage throughout the day. We'll have that message from the president, his remarks, in roughly an hour or so. Mark, Susan.
All right, Eric, Will, thank you all. Stay with News 3 Now and Channel3000.com for full coverage of President Biden's visit to the Madison area. As Eric mentioned this afternoon, we will have a live special report of the president's speech on News 3 on the air. Also Channel3000.com and the free Channel 3000 Plus streaming app. News 3 Now will also have a full recap of the visit from reaction of both sides of the aisle on News 3 Now live at 4 and News 3 Now at 5 and 6.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Another potentially big story. Right now, it's beautiful outside. Meteorologist Greg Barnhart has a look at the forecast. Greg?
Yeah, it is. It's actually very nice. Mid-40s for today, so definitely warm, sunny. It just doesn't reflect that we do have a winter storm approaching for tonight, but it's after midnight, rain, freezing rain mix, and then turning all to snow probably by tomorrow morning's commute, and then heavy at times until the afternoon. So this is all southern Wisconsin. It's a heavy, wet snow, too. But satellite shows you just have a few cirrus clouds beginning to pull northward. We'll expect increase in clouds. Otherwise, it's really nice out there. Speaking of temperatures, we're steady in the mid-40s for most locations, 46 all the way up to Camp Douglas. If we zoom in to Dane County overall, we're in the low to mid-40s, so about 10 degrees or 15 degrees above average that we should be. Winds are out of the south right now, and that's why it's getting warmer conditions. There's no snow to the ground to the south, too, so we got all that warm air that's being pulled northward ahead of that system. Right there is the culprit that we have a lot of moisture with this one, anomalous amount of moisture being pulled. They're going to have some severe weather down there in the southern areas, but that's going to be the rain that's going to be pulling north. So like I said, quite a bit of rain with this. This is a wet system to speak of. There's your narrow window of winter storm watches, which some of the counties are, and advisories. I'll break down what to expect, how much, and what the weekend looks ahead a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. More breaking news now. Madison Metropolitan School District Superintendent Dr. Carlton Jenkins plans to retire from the district this summer. Dr. Jenkins served as MMSD superintendent since 2020. Just a small part of his 34 years serving as an educator, including as principal with Beloit Public Schools. Dr. Jenkins' final day is July 28th. According to a press release, more information on the transition process will be provided in the upcoming weeks.
Back to the president now. President Biden's second State of the Union address was a lively affair last night, and not surprisingly, the reviews are split along party lines. The president highlighted the economy and what he considers his achievements, including unemployment at 3.4%, a 50-year low. He received GOP heckling at levels never seen before when he suggested some Republicans had proposed cutting Medicare and Social Security.
Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion.
He is simply unfit to serve as commander-in-chief.
Former Trump press secretary and newly installed Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders delivered the Republican response. Last night's speech was one of the rowdiest State of the Union addresses in recent history, with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy actually shushing members of his own party at least 4 times. It was quite a show, I'll tell you that. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon, including the chair of the Federal Reserve giving an optimistic outlook for the year.
Plus, a new report says the lack of child care is costing the U.S. economy big time. We'll have the Money Watch report coming up next.
This is it, Wisconsin. Ashley's Mattress Marathon starts now. Save up to 75% off top mattress brands like Beautyrest, Serta, Purple, Tempur-Pedic, and more while supplies last. Happening now at Wisconsin's #1 mattress retailer, Ashley.
This year, say yes.
I couldn't be more thrilled with my results. I'm over the moon happy. Look at that waist.
Yes to confidence.
I'm so happy. I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
Yes to a new shape.
These are my results. I am so happy.
Yes to a new you.
I'm Dr. Elena Vega. Imagine you could remove this much fat from multiple areas all at one time.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells for good.
I have the flattest tummy that I've had in 25 years.
I'm able to wear things that I never thought I would wear again.
I can wear a little black dress. I feel sexy.
Find out how you can get $250 off with our New Year exclusive offer. Call 1-800-993-0752 or go to sonobello.com.
Are you a T-Mobile customer in Wisconsin? Recently, T-Mobile disclosed that 37 million customer accounts were hacked, putting your personal information at risk. Don't let identity theft ruin your credit score and cost you thousands of dollars. Call Lawton & Gates for a free consultation and learn your rights.
Do you suffer with pain, numbness, and tingling in the hands or feet? Commonly diagnosed as peripheral neuropathy? Are you taking drugs such as Lyrica or gabapentin that have serious side effects and often do not relieve your symptoms? Your doctor has told you you may just have to live with the pain. Peripheral neuropathy is a result of damage to the nerves, often causing burning, weakness, pain, numbness, tingling, and the most debilitating balance problems. Our facility uses multiple therapeutic methods to help give you relief from neuropathy symptoms with no injections and no drugs. You may start seeing relief after only a few sessions. To determine if your neuropathy symptoms can be relieved, we will do a consultation to evaluate the extent of your condition. Call us today to schedule your neuropathy consultation to find out if you're a candidate for our therapy. Call today.
Wisconsin, the Friends and Family Sale is going on now at Ashley. To thank you for your loyal support over the last 54 years, you pay what our friends and family pay and not a penny more. Find furniture up to 60% off. Plus, take a bonus 15% off our sale prices at checkout at Ashley.
At the Economic Club of Washington, D.C., Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the, quote, deflationary process has begun in the U.S. economy. Despite this, he added that more interest rate hikes would be needed as the Fed tries to bring inflation down to its target of 2%, a process that Powell also says will take time. Another tech company is slashing jobs. Zoom says it will lay off roughly 15% or 1,300 employees as pandemic-driven demand for digital services continues to wane. The video conferencing company's CEO announced he will take a 98% pay cut and forego his bonus this year. Other Zoom executives are also taking a 20% pay cut and forfeiting their bonuses for 2023. And a new report from Ready Nation says a lack of child care is costing the U.S. economy $122 billion each year. The study found that families lose $78 billion a year when they can't find adequate child care, while businesses lose $23 billion based on lost revenue or hiring costs when working parents cut back hours or leave. The government also loses $21 billion a year in lost income and sales tax revenues because parents without adequate child care earn less and spend less in their communities. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
We'll be following breaking news throughout the afternoon as President Joe Biden visits Dane County.
This is the president's first stop after his State of the Union address. According to the White House press schedule, he'll be speaking at the Leona Training Center in DeForest. President Biden expected to promote his economic plan and how it's creating more jobs for the American people.
This afternoon, we will have a live special report of the president's speech here on News 3 Now, on channel3000.com, and on the free Channel 3000 Plus streaming app. It's expected to start around 1 o'clock.
One-ish?
One-ish. That's probably a good way to put it. We'll also have a full recap of the visit with reaction from both sides of the aisle today on Live at 4 and News 3 Now at 5 and 6.
And coming up, we have today's egg prices, and Greg has details of tonight and tomorrow's alert day.
And then coming up later this afternoon on Live at 4, more complete coverage of the president's visit to the Madison area. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A former prosecutor, now circuit court judge, Janet Protasewicz. On the Supreme Court, she'll be a common-sense judge. She believes in abortion rights, fairness for all, and protecting public safety. Janet Protasewicz for Supreme Court.
At McGann Furniture and Flooring in Baraboo, we know that hardworking people want the most value for their money. At McGann's, we've already sorted out and selected the brands that we feel offer you the most bang for your buck. From young couples to senior citizens, we offer a huge selection at prices that will fit your budget. And remember, at McGann's, we don't raise prices only to lower them later for a sale. Discover the difference at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again. 833-WISC-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
I'm going for Judge Janet
Protasewicz?
You don't need to know how to say Protasewicz to know that Judge Janet believes in abortion rights, fairness, and public safety.
Protasewicz.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of Patti LaBelle taking over my show. Whoa! You turned this place out. Then a magical music moment with Mama Patti.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
Tomorrow, a dicey weather system brings us an alert day. We'll track its path and have live drive updates to help you navigate your day.
And a local community honors a teen gone too soon. How you could help them make a splash for a good cause. Tomorrow from 4:30 to 7.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
And Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report is out of the radio barn today. She'll be back on Monday. Here are your farm numbers. And alert days in the forecast for tonight. Here's Greg with the latest.
Yeah, we got the alert day right now going on, but then the good thing with some of the storm, it's going to be a heavy wet snow, so there's some pros and cons to it. But just to give you an idea of a breakdown, we kind of split it between US 51, north-south of that. So really we're looking at north of that, starting around maybe this late 3 to 6 a.m. It'll transition to snow by about 4 to 6. heaviest snowfall, and that's when we expect most of the road accumulation. Probably be 7 a.m. to noon time frame. Now, for areas that are east, south of US 51, it's a little bit early as you go, especially towards the Illinois border, maybe 1 to 3, but more rain starting off, maybe a little mix of freezing rain, sleet, but I think rain will be predominant. It'll quickly transition to snow sometime between 6 and 9 a.m. as you go further north, a little bit later. And then the heaviest snowfall, we're thinking maybe like this would be for the Madison area, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think the rate will be high then. There afterwards, the rate falls, so that means the roads will probably have a time to actually get better just because our temperatures and all this are still going to be above freezing throughout the whole entire event. That's the positive news. Right now, winter weather advisories to the south are 3 to 6. We still got to watch. They're trying to fine-tune the amounts. I think this will be upgraded either to a warning to advisory later till 6 p.m. And then areas to the north are advisory from 3 a.m. then to 6 p.m. Thursday. So it's a very narrow area that could get very heavy snow, but either side, it'll taper off pretty quick. Like I said, a lot of areas will get quite a bit of moisture with this. Right now, here's the system to the south. This one's going to kind of sit back, but that'll give us maybe a little bit more snow Thursday, tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. Not a big deal. This is the one that's really causing severe weather and the amount of moisture as it lifts to the north towards us. So that's the one that we're tracking right now as we go further on. Overall, if we track that out, you can see it begins to lift. Spreads precipitation really after midnight. It'll take time maybe for the lower atmosphere to moisten up, so I don't think we'll see rainfall before much midnight. It'll be afterwards. As you see, it spreads north. The surface low heads right towards about Chicago area or just thereof. We'll transition to snow. Everyone will sometime tomorrow morning. We actually could transition back a little bit too in the afternoon hours. Really, that's when things are going to start tapering off towards the evening. And then we have a little bit of snow kind of on the backside. That little system I said to the northwest comes through. Maybe the evening with a little bit of snow. And that sets up pretty nice average day for Friday too, so it's not a quick system. If we time that out, you can see temperatures right now mid to upper 40s, 47. So like I said, it's going to start off warm. This evening is going to be steadily warm too. We'll see southerly winds continue. Even by 8 o'clock, we're still sitting well above freezing right now for most areas. Here comes the precipitation up to the north. This may take time to actually reach the ground, so that's why even though it says it's going to come up before midnight, I don't know if it will. By the time it does, rainfall for most areas, you see kind of 14 to US 51 is that cutoff to where it's going to transition. Could even be some moderate rainfall overnight. By 6, that's when the things start to the west, transition over to snow. Madison, it's a little bit there afterwards, probably 7 to 8 it'll transition, and that's when we'll start getting the heaviest snow rate is right during this time where you can get them almost like an inch plus per hour, so that will accumulate on roads. The good news is you see over the afternoon, we start tapering off. We may transition a little bit back, but notice the temperatures. We don't fall below freezing. So the roads by tomorrow afternoon, evening might improve a little bit just because they are going to be wet. A little salt will definitely help that. The thing to watch for as you go tomorrow night is notice the temperatures. We go Thursday night into Friday morning, they fall below freezing. So that could be an issue come Friday morning for any moisture on the roads. It could be slick spots as we go into Friday morning's commute. So that's kind of what we're eyeing. It's going to be a quick moving system. Snowfall, there's going to be a narrow area of 6+ maybe in there. We're talking about northern Iowa County, Grant County, just northwest of Madison, right around Madison to the northeast. A very narrow area. Either side is going to be 3 to 6. This is going to be a heavy, wet snow. So once again, you may get 6 inches by the time you look at it. A few hours later, it might be down to 4 inches just because of melting or compacting. So that's something to keep in mind of. You look at the 10-day right now. Once we get past that, the weekend looks okay. 40 degrees once again. We got another system, probably more wet once again coming towards Valentine's Day there afterwards. But the one thing you notice, really no cold temperatures once again throughout the extended, just some wet, sloppy conditions, I guess you could say.
All right, thank you, Greg. We'll be right back.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Welcome to Oakmont Senior Community in Verona. Active seniors 55 plus will enjoy our new luxury apartments, professionally managed by award-winning Attic Angel Community. Call Demery today for a tour and reserve your place at Oakmont.
You might be rooting for different teams, but there's one thing you all cheer for. Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza, loaded with over a half pound of real Wisconsin cheese and piled high with your favorite premium toppings. It's so good, you won't even notice that interception. Stock up on Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza before the big game. Get 2 for only $11.96. Now at Menards, limited time only. Hurry in while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
Want a flatter, tighter tummy? Then check out new Ab EX from Sono Bello.
Doctor, after my pregnancies, my body just never bounced back. I had this stomach overhang that made me really self-conscious.
It's not your fault. That stubborn fat and excess skin is extremely hard to get rid of with diet and exercise alone.
That's exactly why I went to Sono Bello. I really trust their team of experts, and I finally got the flat stomach I had always wanted.
Introducing Ab EX from Sono Bello. Remove fat and lose excess skin permanently in just one visit.
Ab EX is a great alternative to a tummy tuck. So that stomach overhang that you mentioned becomes a flat, tight tummy fast with minimal downtime.
Schedule your free, no obligation consultation now to learn more about Ab EX by Sono Bello. Call 1-800-848-9429 or go to sonobello.com.
The right ones with the good stuff. Carl F. Stocks and Sons.
Parts, sales, and service. An investment you'll enjoy. Make life easier. Experience the New Holland compact tractor that's best for you. 6-year powertrain warranty. Available today at Carl F. Stotts & Sons. Superior service since 1930. CarlFStotts.com.
Carl F. Stocks and Sons.
Welcome to Oakmont Senior Community in Verona. Active seniors 55 plus will enjoy our new luxury apartments, professionally managed by award-winning Attic Angel Community. Call Demery today for a tour and reserve your place at Oakmont.
When it comes to planning what to make for dinner, many of us are looking for meals that are easy on our wallet, yet don't make us feel like we're counting pennies. If that sounds like you, then you're gonna go nuts over these unstuffed stuffed pork chops. To get going, we prepare a box of shortcut stuffing mix according to the package directions, except we add in some sliced fresh mushrooms. Now, while that sits, we saute our thick-cut boneless pork chops that we seasoned in a bit of oil. Once they're browned, we top each with a scoop of our stuffing and place a slice of Munster cheese over that. Layering them like this is a lot easier than trying to stuff them. At this point, we'll add some white wine, cover it, and let it cook just long enough for the cheese to melt. Serve these up with a green veggie, spoon the pan drippings over them, and you have a feast that looks and tastes like it's fit for a king. And only you'll know how budget-friendly it is. To get the recipe for our unstuffed, stuffed, cheesy pork chops, all you have to do is visit our website. I know you'll be glad you did. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an unstuffed way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Visit to Dane County today.
Eric Trunke will continue to join us live from the Liuna Training Center near DeForest. Eric?
Gentlemen, Susan and Mark, the speakers have started. The program started just a few minutes ago with Madison Mayor Sacha Rhodes Conway on the stage right now addressing the crowd here, and Mark Pocan and Governor Evers also up on stage. Yeah. Well, everybody seems to get in line when the president comes to town and they get a chance to speak.
Right, exactly. And we know that Congressman Pocan traveled with the president earlier today, so I don't know that Baldwin is speaking today, but we should have a good contingent of Wisconsin politicians coming here.
All right, and of course, we will take the president's remarks live when they happen. Mark, Susan?
Eric will thank you. Here's Greg, one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we still got the alert day, but it's going to be a nice afternoon, evening, so really no issues to speak of through the evening hours. But then as we get towards overnight, that's when things will happen. Rain or snow probably after midnight. For the morning commute, could be rain, snow turning, heaviest snow probably before noon. Then we'll have improving conditions in the afternoon.